it on the phone, spin my windows is tinted, let's go. My backseat ain't empty, we just left the Fendi, we getting it all over the floors. This is why I need the fam, this is why I these welcome back. Look, we're gonna get right into it. I know you saw that thumbnail and you was like, what is this girl talking about today? We're gonna jump right into this story time. And honey, I'm gonna tell you a story time when I was a millionaire for a day. Yes, your girl was a millionaire for a whole day. Okay, so I've worked all types of jobs. I'm talking about, if you thought about it, I might have did it. I haven't been a stripper. I would love to tell y'all the story time about me being a stripper for the day. I haven't been a stripper. Or about a girl, but I have worked everything. I have worked from gas stations. I have worked jobs where I take care of people. I have worked jobs where I worked at Bojangles, fast food restaurants. I have worked everywhere. I have volunteered at the hospital as a greeter. I have worked everywhere. I have worked in the prison system. I have worked everywhere, baby. If they said it was gonna be some money to be made, I was like, how much is good girl, I'll work a job, okay? It's nothing to it. But anyway, tonight's gonna be a story time of how I was a millionaire for a day. Okay, so what ended up happening was I was working at a gas station, and this lady, she came in. Now, this lady, she came in or whatever, she had like this golden name tag or whatever. And I'm going to give her the name title of Alicia. Her name is going to be Alicia, okay? So Alicia came in the store, and I saw her little name tag. And to me, the fancier your name tag, I think the more money you make. I don't know if everybody else thinking like that, but that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, she got a nice little name tag. She must be making that money. Let me ask what she worked here, because I was always networking when I was in that gas station, because I was thinking like, yeah, I need to get out of here. I need some work. this ain't enough. So she was telling me that she worked and she took care of people when she did house cleaning or whatever. And she was like, come on down. They're always looking for somebody. But I was like, I don't have no degree in that. She was like, you don't. They're going to train you and everything. So she said, I was like, well, when I get my next off day, I'm going to come. So my next off day, I did just that. I pulled up. And I came right in, and she was in there just vacuuming the floor. When she saw me, oh, you okay? She was so happy. She was so sweet. She was like, just go to the front. I already told them that you was going to come on your day off. They got you a packet, and they had my packet with my name on it. Like, she must was their little recruiter, because, honey, she was out there in the field. Like, anytime somebody asked her something, yeah, they hired. Because they needed all the help that they can to take care of the older clients. So, anyway, so I came, I filled out an application. It took about a month and a half to get out. They did the screening, they're going to check, bring your background, make sure you ain't hit nobody, hurt nobody, you ain't no criminal, okay? So basically, they ran the background check, they get back with me, I get a start date, and honey, I had to train, honey. You had to do so much computer training, and then you do the training on the floor. But honey, I'm telling you, it was a lot. And you could not touch a client. You couldn't do the job until you finished that training. So I got done with the training finally. It took me almost 3 months to get done with all that computer work in it. But I got done with it. Then I started training on the floor. My family member, my friends like, girl, you gonna do what now? You gonna be wiping booty for a living? You ain't gonna last that. They were like, girl, you was too prissy to do the job. You're not gonna last. They had a belt on me. I lasted 3 days. They took me to the floor because I had did a tour and I saw all the other people and I was like, oh, they're so cute, they're so adorable. I was so happy that I could do something to help them. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, okay, because some of them needed more care than the others. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this is going to be a dope job to get to help the clients, So, well, they became family. I didn't call them, they were my family, they were my people. But anyway, call them clients or whatever. So basically, I started a job, I got on the floor, I learned to do my job. And I remember the first day I came on the floor, it smelled like death. It smelled like, I don't know if you ever worked with a place where that change adult diapers, but it smelled like Pookie and Dookie and piss, and it was a lot going on, okay? And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't think I'm being able to do it. But this older lady, she was training me, and she was like, yes, the smells are horrendous sometimes, But it's not like that. It's just doing changes. Sometimes somebody might give access. Just like if you have a baby and they use the bathroom themselves, you got to change them. So sometimes you're gonna come in and somebody had just already just got changed, or they just had an accident. We clean it up, we keep it moving. They did. They kept it real clean in there, and they showed me. And they had an OG to train me. And she just told me, I'm going to teach you. And she said she's been doing this for 32 years. She worked at all types of facilities. She told me she worked part-time and she got some clients that she take care of because she's like, this is what she do. And I was commending her. I'm like, 32 years, you the OG. So she basically was like, train me. She was like, you need to start wearing perfume on your wrist because sometimes you might smell smells that are just horrendous. But she said, you just smell it. And I used to smell it every time I'm about to throw up. You smell that and get back to work. And I promise you it worked. And I bet if somebody walked in and saw us, why would everybody sniffing their wrist? We trying to make it through our shift. Leave us alone, okay? But either way, it was a joy. And after you get to know the clients you get to work with, they become your family. Because if you work with clients and you don't eventually turn into loving them, baby, find something else to do. Because I can't wipe nobody but and don't love them, okay? After a while, they're my family. That's grandma, okay? And honey, I love her. I love working with the clients. So anyway, I end up every time you work with the clients, I worked on the behavior unit with dementia patients or dementia clients. Okay, so these was the older adults that had behaviors because they due to dementia and other things that was going on with them. But honey, when I first heard that, I was like, okay, they gonna put me with bad folks. They gonna be in here turned up. And they was. Some of them was. They were turned up lie. They were hidden. They were doing a lie. But you know what? After you learn each client, you'll learn that, okay, this is not something that they do every day. They just have a bad day, just like anybody else. And they have dementia, so they forget things. They looking around. You not their family member. Who was you? Little big girl. You was talking about. They be ready to fight. Who is you? You in my house. Like, who is you? Like, if you imagine this, if your mind told you was in a strange place and this big head girl that looking at me don't work in my house, you're going to do what you got to do. Okay? So you had to always reassure them, tell them where they was at. And after a while, you just learn how to do your job. And the ones that stayed, they were great workers. And the one that went, they needed to go. But either way, so one client, I had this one client, we're gonna call him Mr. Nelson, okay? We can call him Mr. Nelson. Now let me describe Mr. Nelson for you. Mr. Nelson was about, if I'm 5'3", Mr. Nelson was about 5'8", okay? He was about 5'8". He was an older man, about 85 years old, had the little wrinkly skin. And I know when I describe, I say the wrinkly skin, because to me, a lot of old people look like little puppy dogs to me. I'll be like, they so cute, they can't even be so cute. But anyway, and he had snow white hair, okay? He had like a box head, okay? And he was just cute. And so when I went in the room, the first thing I noticed was that he had a picture with Bill Gates, but it looked like a younger him. And I'm like, how you know Bill Gates? He told me, oh, that's one of my friends. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But he was a sweet man. I come in there, I said, do you need me to help you? Because I always talk to each client because you don't know what they can do unless you read the paperwork. Do you need me to help you with anything? Do you need me to help you go to the bathroom? And he'd be like, yes, some days he did, and some days he would ask me to help him with his laundry. It was different days. And then he started to have decline where he went from being able to do a lot to, some days being lost, don't know where he going and stuff like that. And you just reassure him. And then one day, he held my hand. Like, I just in there folding his laundry and everything, just talking. I be talking to the client, or if they're watching TV, I don't bother. I just let them watch TV and I say, hey, how you doing? My name is such and such. I always introduce myself because when you're working with somebody that got dementia, you have to constantly say, hi, my name is Phil, and let them know it's okay. I'm here to help you. So anyway, I'm in here folding his clothes and he held my hand and he told me, you are so beautiful. What do your name tag say? And he looking at my name tag. And I was like, oh, it say Angela. I'm like, it say Angela. But he was like, okay, it says what? Call me Barbie. He said, oh, I like that. I like Barbie. Okay, I like Barbie. I said, okay, most people just call me Barbie. So anyway, He was like, well, thank you, Barbie, for helping with my clothes and all that you do. And he just held my hand and he said that. And I was like, and that happened every day. Every day after that day, I come in, he'll hold my hand and he'll thank me for one. And then he started saying, well, can I come with you? Come for a walk? He'll be asking me like, can I go for a walk with you? And I'll be like, yeah, sure you can. So now in this facility, it was like in the back of the facility, so they have it so they can't come out, because this is a behavior unit. So if they can freely walk around, they got little areas where they can go outside. They can move everywhere. They got a day room where they can watch TV. It was a nice facility. But they had a little room where they can eat. They have a cafeteria. Like it was a nice facility for sure. And their rooms were very spacious. It was nice and it was always clean. But he got to the point where every time I was there, sometimes I was not assigning him, and sometimes I was. Whether I was assigning him or not, he'll walk up to me and say, "Can we go for a walk? Or can we play cards?" And I never told Mr. Nelson no. And I was like, "Yes, Mr. Nelson, we can. But let me finish helping a few people, and then I'll come and I'll make sure I did." Or sometimes he just wanted to hold your hand. He just had this thing where he wanted to hold your hand and walk. And I thought it was the sweetest. So one day I was assigned to him, and on my shifts, I started off working second shift, and that was like from 2 to 10. And then I was like, okay, once I worked there for a while, I'm gonna tell them to switch this because I need to go ahead and get off and be done for the day, because this is a lot of work. And I enjoyed every moment of it. And honey, I have some story times for you about that place, honey, because honey, it was so fun to work there. So, anywho, I eventually switched to morning shift, and that shift was like 6 to 2 or 6 to 3. It was 6 to 2. So I ended up working that shift, and so I came in early. So he was so used to me seeing me at night that I guess in his mind he was like, it's at nighttime because I'm here, because I started midday, and by the time I get to him, it won't be night because it'll be like by the time I started, coming to his room and everything, it'd be like 3 o'clock, and then we get ready for dinner, and then we clean up, and then certain ones had baths or whatever. So he was just used to me coming there at certain times. So it was morning time, and he was like, it's already 2 o'clock, because sometimes they were sharp. A lot of the time they were real sharp. Like he knew what time it was, what was going on, what time I came to work and everything. He was like, what you taking a double shift and whatever. Because in his head, I asked him one day, where do you think you at? He was like, I'm on a resort. This is a resort or whatever, and you work here. I was like, oh, okay. So every time I talked to him, that's why I told him who was it. Me is wherever you think we at, Mr. Sir. So he said we was on a resort, and he was like, you work so hard. He always tried to tilt me money, and I always be like, thank you so much, and I always put it back on the top of his drawer, because you can get in trouble for taking stuff from the clients. You can't take things from the clients, but he always tried to give me money. So one day he held my hand when I was in his room. He watching TV. I'm turning the channel because he wants to watch something else. He asked me to turn it to channel 9, and then as soon as I got to channel 9, it was like a western or something. Like he was like, yeah, that's it right there. So he held my hand and he asked me, can you be my partner for life? And I said, what, Mr. Nelson? He was like, can you be my partner? I talked to my children about it, and I want you to be my partner. And I was lost. I was like, Mr. Nelson. He was like, we've been courting for a while now, and I was like, for you to be my partner. And I was like, can I get a day or two to think about it? And so he was like, yes, take all the time you need. So because that was morning, because I had switched to morning shift. And so when my shift was over, I went to the director office like, look, this man that asked me to be his partner for life, what that mean? He want to marry you. He said that y'all been courting. I ain't know what courting was. I ain't know none of these. Courting mean dating back in their day. Okay, so he said we've been courting. So he think me coming to the room and we walking around holding hands, we were dating. He thought it was exclusive. That was exclusive date, and he thought that's what was going on. In his mind, that's what we was doing. In my mind, I just, you didn't ask me to be your partner for life. Oh, okay. Let me run this by the director, but I didn't see him there. And she was like, well, she had a policy that whatever we can do to make them happy, we can do it within reason. So the next day she said, baby, you get married. Make sure you bring your little white dress, and if not, what size you wear, because I'll go get one, and we can get married. So I talked to the daughter, and the daughter told me, yeah, he told me. Like, this is the longest he ever, as she called it, being in his right mind. And he is serious. He wanted to marry you. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. So they staged it. They had a priest to come in, and we got married right in the dining hall. And everybody came. Everybody had on their beds, and we got married. And he didn't, when we kissed or whatever, and I was like, y'all, how far we gonna take this? Cause this man think he finna go on with me. Like, what? He kissed me on the cheek. He was very modest. He kissed me on the cheek, gave me the biggest hug, and he was like, you gonna have the best time of your life, and you don't have to work at this resort no more. Again, sir, we not okay, but that's what you think. I was like, oh, I'm so happy, whatever. And so I ended up taking him to his room. I gave him a bath, and what I had to start doing, because in his mind, we were husband and wife. What I had to start doing was, when I gave him a bath and put him in the bed, I had to lay in the bed with him. Now, this ain't nothing I had to do, but I did it because it made him go to sleep. And so I would lay in the bed with him, no hoochie coochie. So if somebody thinking this is dead, it ain't dead. I lay in the bed with him until he went to sleep. It took him like 2 minutes to go to sleep. And he'll be like, I love you, baby. And he'll go to sleep. I say, I love you too. And he'll go to sleep. Sleep all night. Sleep like a baby. And that was our routine. Sometimes if he had a bad day, and a bad day was when he'll be walking around looking for me. Like, he'll be walking around looking for me. Like, have y'all seen my wife? Have y'all seen my wife? Because he remembered he got married. Have y'all seen my wife? And they had a ring for me. It was a fake ring. Got it from the Dollar Tree or somewhere. We got it from somewhere, like at the hair store. We got it from hair. And when I clocked in, I put the ring on, and I was married to Mr. Nixon. Everybody used to be like, yeah, that's Mr. Nixon. And then in dress, we went with what he had going on. This is what he thought. So he stayed in his delusion for a long time, and then some days he didn't know who I was. So whatever he had going on, we went with him because we wanted him to be happy. His late wife, or his wife, had passed away, and she had been gone for like 20 years. So his daughter said this was the happiest he ever been, and we did everything together, y'all. We will play puzzles. We did everything. We'll go for a walk around the facility, and to him, that was everything. Movies together. He'll have his little blanket. I'll be snuggled up right close to him. Like, if I'm sitting in a chair and he's sitting in a chair, we'll be snuggled up. I'll be snuggled up like this to him. And he'll take the cover and reach across me and make sure I'm covered up and everything. And he used to always whisper in my ear, you warm? You warm? I thought it was the cutest, because in his head, I was his wife for real. And he was going to make sure I was good. And so he started asking me, like, when I would come in there, give him a bath, clean up his room, do anything in his room. Like, most of the time, the routine was to sweep the floor, make sure the bathroom was clean, make sure he didn't need to be changed. I would take him to the bathroom, and in his head, he just thought I was his wife helping him out, and he would use the bathroom. He'll use the bathroom. I'll change him. I do whatever I had to do to make sure he was clean and comfortable, and then he would just put him in a chair because he had a hard time walking. He could walk, but we were scared that he was going to fall. So we always made sure that he held me. And that was the purpose of him, I think, holding your hand, because he knew he had balance issues. So he'll hold your hand, you walk him, put him in the chair. And I just love, he was my favorite. Mr. Nelson was my favorite because he was so sweet. He not like it. Look, he was so sweet. He not like it. He was such a caring man, and all his concern was that my wife is good. And so one day he saw me, because he was in delusion. He was like, why do you keep wearing your resort outfit? Why do you keep wearing your resort outfit? You don't have to work in a resort. I'm loaded. And so he said that, and I'm like, well, I like to work there part-time. It makes me happy, hun, so let me work here. And he was like, okay, well, you can work here if you want to, but I don't really want you to work there. Tell him you can't work that many hours. And I told him, yeah. And then he'll go out of delusion and he don't know who I am. He was like, who are you? And we went with whatever he had going on. So then, as the time would go on, he was declining, and he kept forgetting, and he didn't know who I was. But I still took care of him, gave him baths, made sure he was comfortable, cleaned his clothes for him, made his bed, made sure he ate. Sometimes he had bad nights where he would walk around and look for me. So I lived 15 minutes down the street. They'd be like, okay, Mr. Nelson is walking around, he looking for you. So I will come lay in the bed. It's literally, he lay in the bed, I put the cover, I lay on top of the cover, and I just kind of hold him. And then 2 minutes. That's all his mind needed. That his wife is in bed with him. We both say, boom, he'll go sleep all the way to the morning. And he lived a happy life. I'm talking about, I made sure we did puzzles, we did whatever. So then one day he passed away. And that was a hard day for me. Y'all, that was a hard day. Because Mr. Nelson was the sweetest. I was talking about, he was sweet. He used to tell me jokes. We used to laugh watching TV. Because I used to sit in his room. After I finished with my other clients, we'd go sit. I sit in the room with him. He talking. He telling me about his life or where he traveled. Because these people have interesting life, honey. I was talking about, and he was really a rich man. So, but I didn't know how rich he was. So he passed away. He was 86 years old, about to turn 87. Right before his birthday, he passed away. I came in. Before I could clock in, they told me, go to the front office. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? Because I'm thinking like, you know what I'm saying? Because I love my clients. I never did nothing to hurt them or nothing. But they never stopped me when I first came in the building. I thought something was really wrong. Like, what's going on? And they was like, I just want to sit you down because we don't know if you want to work his shift. But Mr. Nelson died in his sleep last night. Boy, that was a hard day, y'all. I was in there about to cry my eyelash off because I loved him. Like, I love all my clients. Like, I really had a special connection with everybody. Some people we used to dance together. Some people we do puzzles together. Some people I do their hair every day. They be like, And then I had one client, bring me some eyelashes, because she was so fun. Like, you fall in love with all your clients, but you know, he held a special place in my heart. That was my book of wood. Look, that was my book of wood. At least he'll tell you that. He used to call me his book of wood. So anyway, it was a hard day, y'all. I cried. I think a lot of people was affected by his death because he was so sweet. The man was just sweet, and he treated all the women that worked there so sweet. And he always was known for trying to tip you. Here you go, because you work so hard. And he always had a 20. If you want a 20, and everybody knew, just put his money. He kept his money in his sock, in the top of his drawer. You put that money right back in there. Mr. Nelson can't give me no money. He said, "What? I ain't going nowhere. I ain't gonna spend it." Because he would come back in his right mind and knew where he was at, and he would joke with you. He was just so funny. But that was a hard day. So I was in the office just boo-hooing, and y'all, I couldn't work. I had to leave because I couldn't get myself together. I eventually had to call my friend to come get me because I took it that hard. I took it hard like my grandfather died, y'all, because, honey, who? And then I went in his room, and his family was in there, and they cleaned up his room. And I was like, well, I'll clean up his room. Y'all got to touch nothing. And then I was asking somebody, is he okay? Did it hurt when he went? And they was like, no, he just went in sleep. And did he ask for me? Like, I was really devastated, y'all. So what ended up happening was I went in there, and his I'm about to say his sister, his daughter, he had a daughter and his son. The son I had never seen, and I worked there for almost 2.5 years. I was around him he came there when he was 85. He died when he was about to turn 87. So he was 86, but he was about to turn 87. So that's how long I was around him. And so I never saw the son, but the daughter would come every week or every 2 weeks. She would come. I saw her. She was active in his life. So as soon as she saw me, she came, gave me the longest hug, and then that made me cry even more. He gone, girl. He gone. I was like, your daddy was just such a joy. He was just such a joy. And she was like, you made him so happy. He's next thing. And I don't know what I can do to make you, but if you need anything, and at this time I only had one son, and they knew because sometimes I would bring him to work. So she was like, if you need anything, just let me know, okay? And I was like, no, I just, you know what I'm saying, I want to go to the funeral if that's okay or whatever. So fast forward, funeral had, I went there, I sat in the back. He was a white male, so it was white people galore. Ain't nothing wrong with him. And believe it or not, he had a lot of black friends, believe it or not. But it was a white people galore. It was a white people buffet. There ain't nothing wrong with it. And they were so sweet. His family was so loving. They even, shouted me out and the thing, like basically I was his caretaker and and a lot of people came up and shaped me, said he was a very important man. And he said, and I learned that, I'm listening to them. This man got some money. They kept on saying he was a multi-millionaire. So I should have took them 20s. should have took them 20s that was rolled up in the socks, because he wasn't gonna do nothing with them. Like, this man was what? And they just talking and tell you, at the funeral you didn't know about somebody. Decide I didn't know. All I saw was, a little old man, cute little man. This man was a boss. He owned businesses. He had trucking companies. He had multiple companies. The man has 17 businesses. I was in their funeral. I was like, I'm Mrs. Nelson. We ain't got married. I'm the widow. Wait a minute. Look, in delusion, honey. Wishing it was real. So what ended up happening was I came back because I took a week off because it really hurt my feelings that he was gone. Took a week off because it was just devastating. Go by his room and then I know they about to replace him with another client. And they did. By the time I came back, 2 days afterward, they already had another client in there. I'm talking about a brand new family. And ain't nothing wrong with it, but it just bothered me. So came back to work, and when I came back to work, as soon as I came back, they came and got me. I was there for an hour and they came and got me and put me to the front. I was like, who? Somebody else? Who else died? Like, I can't take no more death. And that's one thing why I eventually, after every client I worked with except for one passed away, and I had 13 that I was really in love. But I really had 13 plus 13, but it was a set of 13 that I really love. And once everybody passed, because they were 85 and 90, then I went and did something else professionally, because I'm like, I can't keep doing it. My heart can't take another down. I ain't that strong. I ain't built like that. You hear me? So I came there. They told me that a man needed to talk to you. You have a meeting. And I'm like, I got a meeting, and I won't in management. I was just a regular scheduled worker. And so they basically just was like, well, you need to go to the front conference room because you have a meeting with a lawyer. And I'm like, a lawyer? Oh, I ain't did nothing. That's my first experience. What y'all talking about? A lawyer? I ain't did nothing. They lied on me. I was a good worker. They told you, look, I was a good worker. So the first thing I thought, I was thinking all across the crazy. Oh, they didn't marry, they didn't kill Mr. Nelson, and they asking me, do I know something? Because they all say he died in his sleep, but he was fine before I left that day. So I ain't know what was going on. So I get there, it's a man, he looked supportive. I'm talking about he looked so. I was like, and he had on a nice watch, he looked like money. And I was like, whoa, okay. I don't know what this is about, but I'm gonna shuffle on number. He looked rich. He said, I am Mr. Nelson's lawyer, and I've been his lawyer for years. I've been with the family for over 40 years. And in his will, he left you $1 million. I said, what? He left me $1 million. $1 million, yes. He left you $1.5 million.
Wait a minute.
Is your name blink, blink, blink? I ain't telling y'all about government. Is your name Barbie? Barbie Dior? Yes, that is I. Well, he left you the money. And I said, is this a joke? He was like, no. And he was very serious and very business. It won't no laughing. He was straight to the mind. He was like, look, I got the paperwork right side here. All you got to do is sign here and here. And da-da-da-da. And so, but then he said, but in furthermore, I still remember that because then they make sense. He flipped the page. And said, due to a family issue. And I said, what was that? Due to his state of mind, the family members or his power of attorney did not feel as though that he was in the right state of mind to award you this money. I say, wait a minute. You said the man changed his will. He called you and talked to you. And he was like, basically, he called me and talked to me. I came in. He discussed that he was married now and that he wanted to leave his wife a $1.5 million because he wanted to make sure me and my son was taken care of, and that if that was not enough for her to basically sum up all the money he got, he needed to know, and he wanted to leave me half. The man was worth more than 1.5. 1.5 million. Okay, that's just a number he came up to because he won't in his right state of mind, and the man was handling his funds. He didn't know how much money he had, but he felt like in his mind that was enough for me to be good, straight, and it was. I mean, real straight. So basically, he flipped the page. He basically the family discussed it, and they felt like he was in his right state of mind. So what they did was, and it was a paper that basically the 1.5 million that he left me, it was crossed out, y'all. Do you hear me? At the top, it was crossed out. Okay, and his power attorney awarded me $2,000. I said, "Hi, if he called you, y'all had a discussion, and you drew up paperwork, and how in the world if I go from 1.5 to 2,000?" And they were crying, and she held my neck. She said, "I made her daddy the happiest at $2,000. Happiness is only $2,000. I washed your baby butt, and I loved him, but still, he was one of my favorite clients. But $2,000." She couldn't make it somebody's salary. She couldn't make it 35K, 30, 40K, 50K. None of that. None of that. I don't know how they jumped for that number, but that's what the family decided that I needed for taking care of their daddy. I was in that room stuck, like, and he was like, "Well, ma'am, I need you to sign right here on the line that you agree to this, and I have the check in here. You take it to any bank and show your ID, and you can cash it." I said, "I want the 1.5. I'll take this one too, but I want the 1.5 because Mr. Nelson said," like, "Ma'am, y'all was not really married. We never draw paperwork to show that y'all was really married." But in his head, and we could have had me if I had knew the situation. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What? I was just so, I went through a range of emotions from being like, what? Huh? What? I was so mad, I never even told nobody. I remember I talked to people that I work with, and they were like, "Girl, what the lawyer was in there? What's going on? What it was about?" And I told them, "Girl, I'm gonna talk to you when we get off," because I couldn't say that. I wanted to, and we had the older people in there, and I never disrespect them in that place. Well, honey, when I clock out, I gotta cuss. I told them, "Y'all, how much this man left me? $1.5 million." And these people scratched that out and gave me $2,000, y'all. 2,000. I was a what? Look, 1.5. I already run around that place and say, "Y'all kiss my I'm out this. I would have kissed my clients and been in South Africa." Nah, I won't go that far. I was gonna go somewhere like Hawaii. But yes, that is a story how I was a millionaire, but not even a day. I said for a day, baby, for 2 minutes. I will pick $1.5 million. Where was I gonna go first? I don't know where I was gonna do, but honey, yes, the man had put me in his will, honey. He said this was real, honey. Make sure my wife is good, honey. Okay, make sure she don't lack for nothing. And then the family want to hate. Because I took care of your what's the name? Because I took care of her. Because I took care of him, y'all could have gave me more than that. Y'all could have gave me more than that. But anyway, that wraps up the story time. I hope that y'all love the story. And I got so many more to come. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment. Tell me what y'all think about this. What kind of reaction would y'all have if somebody brought you in the room, said somebody left you this, but because they weren't in their right state of mind, when they draw the paperwork, you ain't getting it. What would you do? Because, honey, I was just in there like, what? Because he had, what? Because I saw the signed paperwork. I know he ain't right. Because I used to help him right. He left that to me. I had a blank, like, I was just like dumbfounded, like, yeah, hand me the 2,000 though. You know, I'm gonna spend it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You have a good day. Shook his hand, and I said, you have a good day. You know, and he was like, "Thank you. You have a good day." And he folded up his, what's the name? Pulled up the chair. That's his little thing. I'm talking about, he was just so, have a good day, ma'am, and live. Give me the rest of my money. Draw that paperwork up, sir. Draw it up. The man said he wanted me to be taken care of. This gonna do a little bit, but it won't gonna do what that other chick that you had. It won't gonna do what it did. But anyway, I'm gone, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe and come back for another story time. Bye, besties.